how did I get this job? You know, I don't know. Like, it's been 30 years just figuring out where I'm going. Had no idea I would be doing what I'm doing today, what I'm doing, you know, 30 years ago. I had ambition, you know, like your audience is ambitious. So I've always been ambitious. I've always wanted more for myself and my family. You know, I grew up in a good family, so I don't have anybody to blame. Nothing bad happened to me. I lost my dad when I was 10. And that really that impinged, really messed, kind of threw me off. And so I was a good kid. 8 years old, my mom thought I was a loving, caring, you know, kid. And then by the time I was 15, 16 years old, man, something had happened. And so I lost my dad when I was 10, got introduced to drugs when I was 15. The drugs weren't really the deal. I mean, drugs would become a problem for me, but really it was the year between 10 and 15, I was just lost. You know, every day lost, like bored. I was bad, I was not good in school. My grades would not show that I was smart. I wanted to do something. And it was just that from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was just bored. And then when I finally got out, I got in trouble all the time. So when I got introduced to drugs, I was 15 or 16 years old, and then dude, within a year, I was using drugs every day. Started out with just, you know, me and a couple buddies. But when I look back on it now, I'm like, there was just there was no leadership in my life. There was no mentoring. There was leadership and mentoring. It was just the wrong way. You know, I went to treatment and got off the drugs. I needed an environment where I got off the drugs. I had to get away from the environment. The treatment center really, there's a lot of bad information at those treatment centers, but it got me out of the environment. People look at me today and say, oh man, he's cocky and he's this and he's that. They see the plane and da-da-da. Dude, nobody knows what's going on the inside of me, you know? So, you know, that I was coming out of that deal just fragile, broken. The drugs were the least of the problems. It was my self-esteem was crashed. I had no money. I didn't believe in myself anymore. I had no confidence. I was in debt. I had lost, my reputation was damaged in the community I lived in. It was damaged with me. I was the black sheep of my family. Not even my family didn't trust me. I didn't trust me. And then so I made the 28 days and I went back. I was working in a car dealership and I went back there and turned my whole life around. That fast. No, it just, you know, had to one day at a time just turn everything around. Starting with, okay, I got to not use drugs and I got to start rebuilding my life. I had people I went back to this guy that I had worked for him, but I felt like I'd stole from him because I was doing this side hustle while I was with him. And I said, look, man, I owe you a bunch of money because you paid me and I wasn't really here. And he's like, I don't need it. His name's David. He's like, I don't need it. I said, you don't need it. I need it. I need to pay this.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want with it. I have to pay this. And he's like, no, I don't want it. I said, bro, look, I'm leaving the money here. I need to leave it here. It wasn't for him, it was for me, you know?
Yeah.
So I could walk back there strong. And so I've just been slowly rebuilding my life. And, you know, today I've got 17 little companies that all do pretty well. A real estate portfolio that we're building that's going to one day be something, you know, really to be something to be proud of. And I'm trying to help people right now. So depending on where you met me, you know, like over the last 30 years would pretty much depend upon how you see me. Some people see me as a sales guy. If you came out of the automobile industry, you know that I had a lot to do with changing the way they sell cars now. If you've met me in the last 3 years, dude, the guy's a social media influencer.
Right.
If you met me 10 years ago, you would be like, he's a speaker and a motivational guy. So it could be sales, could be, you know, if you met me 20 years ago, you're like, oh my God, that guy's one of the best closers and negotiators. My information on closing and negotiating is just stellar.
Yeah.
Some people know me because I'm a writer. As an author, you know, of books that are called The 10X Rule, Sell or Be Sold, Close Survival Guide, Be First or Last. Very, very polarizing kind of arguments. I think some people see me as a really aggressive, confrontational person. You know, some people know me as their uncle. So we did this gig here in LA. There was 3,000 people there, and 80% had never seen me speak live. They had only seen me online. So they think I'm this Instagram, YouTube, not real guy. Like, people are like, I just had to see if you're even real.
Yeah.
And then other people know me because I'm a real estate investor. Yeah. So I don't know, what do you know me as?